Okay, let's go. Live chat. Here we go. Put that pillow behind my back. Move my junk here. Stuff I gotta go through. Laundry. Just hold it up there. I need to put books back there too. I hope you guys can hear me okay. I'm gonna wait a few minutes and we'll see who comes on. Let me mute this as I am. See if anybody comes in. A little tired. Oh, there it is. I was like, where'd it go? Okay. Oh, y'all, I'm tired. And I got more to do today. I went to the grocery store, which y'all will see. Let me see who's in. Welcome, whoever came in. Give us a like, thumbs up, share it out. I'm going to give it about 5 minutes and I'll start talking. Jay, what's up, my son? How you doing, baby? I am tired. How you doing? And can you hear me? Let me know you can hear me. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Y'all let me know you can hear me. Hey, D, what's up, baby? How you doing? I work with super ego. Who is super ego? You're killing me. Okay. Hey, D, what's up, baby? If you don't get notifications, that's weird. Because somebody else said they weren't getting them. What I would do is if you subscribed and unsubscribe and then take the notifications on and off. Sometimes that is... Ooh, excuse me, y'all. Sometimes that has worked for me because I had a couple channels that I like to get notifications from and the same thing was happening. So I subscribed, unsubscribed, and then I turn the notifications on and do that. How you doing? And what's y'all guys' weather like? Where y'all at in the country? I'm gonna start the subject here in about 5 minutes. This is gonna be some random stuff, but yeah, and give us a like, thumbs up. Anybody who comes in, share it out. Where y'all at in the country? I know I'm in Arizona. For most of y'all who already know, it's hot as Hades. I don't know. I ain't even looked to see. It's probably 100 and something. I walked up there, started feeling like it was cooling off, and then it heated up again. D, where you at? Where are you at in the country? Let me know where you at. Okay. Oh, I love Jay. I love Utah. Salt Lake, was it Provo? Utah is a gorgeous state. If God, it depends on how long we're on this planet, if God ever gave me where I had the right kind of money, I'd buy me a truck and a trailer, and I would be down fishing and traveling through Utah. Michigan is another pretty state, except for in the winter. Yo, lake effect snow, y'all can have that. I think snow is pretty. I just don't like to drive in it, especially back in my truck driving days. I'm good. It's too stressful. But Michigan is a gorgeous state. Another state, I think, if you wanted to go fishing, I think you guys got a lot of lakes. I wouldn't mind doing fishing. And you know what I would like to do is probably go, because I went fishing when I was a kid with like uncle and church people. And so I never cleaned the fish. I never filleted the fish. All I did was catch them. So I wouldn't mind doing like a fishing trip where you go like with like almost like your planned vacation and you signed up with some company that took you to fishing spots. And then they taught you the whole fishing part, the cutting off the head, the cleaning it, the filleting it. I would like to do that. That's something that would be interesting to me. I like fish. Well, not every fish. I don't like red snapper. And I hate cod. Red snapper and cod is like the top hate. Red snapper's right underneath that. Another one I don't like the flavor of is eel. Like if you do sushi, I don't like the flavor of eel. They have flavors. I don't like those. So, yeah. Yeah, Michigan though. Oh, your snow is yeah, it's a whole nother level. I remember in the truck while I was down there, and you should have seen the line as the snow started. We just all started heading to the truck stop and set. And at first you sit in the wait and see if it's gonna stop. Then when you see that it's gonna keep going, you just go to the back and lay down and keep checking. Canada's another. I've been, in a truck. I didn't go very far in. Canada's a state. Again, I don't want to drive trucks anymore. But if I ever had the right kind of money, and we're here on this planet long enough, I don't know, things crazy. Um, y'all know I believe in rapture, so I think it's gonna happen and soon with everything that's crazy. But if I was here long enough, had the right kind of money, could get me a truck and trailer, I would love to go do just drive Canada. Canada is at least BC that I saw what I little I saw of, gorgeous. The greenery is pretty. They've got fields of flowers, strawberry. I mean, it's just gorgeous. Now, I hear their winters are beast mode. I never went up there in the winter. I went during non-winter months, so it was gorgeous. And I only got BC. I was about to go into the one up off of Montana, but things went south with the company I was with. I was like, nah, because they tried to send me in there without no hours. And I was like, let me return your truck to you in Phoenix because you're not going to have me hemmed up in another country and have me in legal issues because I don't know what their laws would be with you being out of hours up here in Canada. I'm not trying to figure it out. I'm not trying to find out. So, but it's gorgeous. That actually is a gorgeous area. All right. Well, we ain't got a lot of people. PJ, what's up, baby? Oh, PJ, you are one of the people. I didn't see your comment until afterwards about the last video live I did when you asked me about Yates. How you doing and how's your weather? Where you at, PJ? You was in the you in the Carolinas? Missouri. I think PJ, you're in Missouri. Yeah. Because it's north, so it's higher up. I can imagine. I watch a guy called Foresty Forrest. He's a Canadian, and he does a lot of trails and mountain hikes and stuff like that. And I watch him. He's a van lifer, and he's in Canada. And I watch him, and he's done it in the winters. And girl, bye. I'm like, that brother right there. Even if I was a quarter of my size, that's too much. Missouri, that was it. What do you like right now? Are you guys cooling off or still hot? Because we started to cool a little bit, and now it's still hot as heck in the day. We're not like 118, but we're like 101, 107. And you could tell it's trying to cool off, but then and the heat is different. It's like I said, I'm a native Arizona. It feels like the sun is closer to the earth. That's all I can tell. And it feels like there's no layer of protection. It's like you go out and it feels like, I can't explain it, but it just don't feel right. It's all off. It's all off. But you were asking me, PJ, about Yates, the Ron Yates. You asked me, I did go look at the videos. I know he talks about different, I didn't watch a lot of his stuff, just a couple to find out who he was. And I realized he talks about a lot of the political climate and things that are happening right now. Not trusting a lot of the system from what I gathered from him, which him and I are kind of on the same page. I'm not a conspiracy theory so much as I believe, and y'all know my whole spiritual Christian side, I believe that things are working together towards an end goal, and that's a wrap up of time. So the things that are happening politically, the things that are happening economically, the things that are happening weather, the things that are happening in the social climate, the things that are happening in businesses, schools. I mean, we just had with another mass shooting at that Dollar General in Florida. The racial climate, the ethnic climate, even not only, let's say, Anglos, which is predominantly white, against blacks, but even that within blacks, Latinos, whatever, even within our own communities against each other. So I believe that there is a climate. Me and my nephew just had a talk. I went by there for him to help me with some assessment stuff I was doing for some applications I did, and me and him were talking, and he's like, he said, oh, Shannon, have you just noticed, okay, 76. Oh, I'd be happy for 76. Oh my God. That's good weather here in Arizona. Once we come out of the hundreds and drop into the 80s, we're straight. But right now we in the hundreds. But me and my nephew, we were talking, and he's like, I said, have you noticed? He said, it's like racism is worse, and even between us as minorities, like different minority groups. He says, I thought that, this group and this group, I thought we got along, but I find out that I said, oh, there's been racial issues between those groups for a long time. And I said, you have to understand, seeds have been planted by a different group into other minority groups so that we really don't stand together. And it's unfortunate. I said, and then we see that we're better than than another one based on complexion, skins, economic class. So I said, oh yeah. And I said, and the times we're in right now, it's going to get worse. I said, it's going to get worse. So, so to your question, I did watch Yates. And he does, he looks at, Jay, my brother in Christ, Father, forgive them for they do not know what they do. Okay, I'm talking on that. I'm gonna talk a little bit about that too. Yes, Lord, we're gonna talk about that too. We're gonna talk about it, Jay. You have no idea. But yeah, I see a lot of weirdness, and Yates kind of to me dealt with a little bit of that. He may deal with it more a little bit on the more conspiracy side. I deal with it when I'm talking about stuff that I see. I'm seeing it more on the Christian side, and I'm seeing it spiritual based in the background of things because time is wrapping up. As a matter of fact, I got to upload it later, but for my Christian group, I just shared something. Well, there's two things that happened. I was in the grocery store, so before I go to work, sometimes I'll take a little snack in because I don't like buying from the snack machine if I can avoid it because it's expensive. So I stopped over here at our local Safeway. They have what's called an olive bar. So, they have a salad bar, olive bar, all of that. So they have like an olive bar. We can get different types of olives. And I like olives. I like briny, salty, sour. So I kind of had a craving. So I went in there and I got the little bulk olives, did different kinds. You fill it up and then they weigh it at the register and you pay whatever the weight is. While I'm walking in there to get this, there's a young girl. I'm going to estimate that baby 9 or 10 years old. And I'm going to estimate who she was with was her mama. I'm presuming it was her mother. So she's telling her, yeah, Mr. So-and-so said, he hasn't had to restrain anybody in 30 years. Now, I work late in the afternoon, so the time of day I was in there, school would have been out. So I'm presuming she's talking about a teacher. Again, I'm just passing the conversation, not that it was my business, but you just overheard it. And as I was listening, I just thought to myself, I'm like, where things are at with the minds of people in today's world is way different. When I went to school, and again, I'm 55. So when I went to school, you got in a fight, you put your dukes up, you fought, you went home. If you won, you won. If you lost, you lost. I always say I'm a win, lose, or draw sister, which means you ain't gonna punk me. I'm gonna put my dukes up and defend myself. I ain't gonna say I'm the biggest baddest on the block, but I'm gonna try to defend myself, and you gonna feel me when it's over, whether I win, lose, or draw. We basically, because bullies bully because they can keep bullying the person if the person doesn't stand up. Okay, so people who try to come against you, once you stand up and fight, it was usually done. You stood up for yourself, they went their way, you went your way, and you threw the peace sign. That's what usually happens. Nowadays, these folks go home, they come back, and they do a whole bunch of weirdness, like that little bitty bad boy who shot his teacher, who wasn't, he was great, like 5 or 6 years old. And now his his mama is going to be up on charges because she's going to get weed or something and left the gun in the gun box and the little boy got it. But it also told me the level of discipline that was not happening in that house because this little boy sound bad as hell. For you to even at that age think in that mindset, there's something wrong. For this little girl to be in the grocery store telling who I presume is her mother about who I presume is a teacher and having to restrain somebody, because that's, he said, I haven't done it in 30 years. Mr. So-and-so sounds like a response you would say to a teacher. And I'm just like, what in the heck? And I'm just saying, you coming soon, Lord, because this is madness. looking on the news, and I just saw all these people, with 4 people, 3 or 4 people dead in Jacksonville, Florida. Some kid does a Nazi thing, but they don't even know if he's part of a group, and goes into a Dollar General, leaves out of out of his area, Florida, goes to Jacksonville. Jacksonville does have a heavy black, and well, Florida in general is a very diverse area, but it has a lot of African Americans and other cultures there, and goes into a Dollar General and kills a whole bunch of people. 3 or 4 folks. Dollar General is not a big store. And I'm like, what in the world? And the sad part is, when this girl was telling her mom just shopping like it was normal. So her mom is desensitized, and a lot of us are very desensitized. I'm alert. I'm not gonna say desensitized. I'm alert, and desensitized to all of what's going on. Something is severely wrong. And the sad part is, this has become an odd normal for people. And the sad part is, it's not normal. I was watching a guy, and he's like, yeah, everybody's trying to go back to normal still from COVID. Things aren't normal, people. Walk outside your door and you tell me if that weather is normal. It's not normal. I'm here in Arizona. Normally through the summers we have rains. Right about now we should be in monsoon season. What monsoon season is rain and dust. We had a few, nothing big. Nothing, we're in a massive drought. Nothing big. We've only had, and it's been spotty rain, like little, maybe, what do you call it? Sprinkles. And maybe a little rain in little parts of the valley, that's it. That hurricane that was coming through, granted, nobody wanted to see California hit really, really bad, but we couldn't use the rain, and it didn't really do anything here. Now, then you see this weird flooding in Nevada. It's just, everything is really, really bizarre, out of kilter, out of order. Doesn't make sense, but it does, depending on where you're at spiritually. And so I'm sitting here, I'm watching, I'm going, this is just weird. And what's more weird is the non-response of the mom. What was more weird is that she's shopping, and like her daughter ain't told her nothing. Like, oh, well, the teacher had to restrain. And this little girl is like telling mom, like, this the first time he's had to do anything like this in 30 years. She's like in shock, and mom's not even addressing it. So basically, okay, it's normal. Now, your other concern and red flag should be, in the society we live, this child, or whoever, I'm presuming it's a child that this man had to restrain. I'm now concerned about my child, because I know that there's a cuckoo-ness in people, that they'll go home and get weapons and do all sorts of madness that don't make sense. And now my concern is about, I could not personally, if it was me, I would have to find a way to homeschool my kids if I had children. I would not have them in today's world. I wouldn't have them in a regular school. I wouldn't, because I don't want to be called up to the school regarding violence. And like just recently I watched, and it was a little thing, it was on NBC, I think it was NBC Nightly News, that they're now, I think it was them, some schools are starting to make the children, they have a pouch, the children have to put their cell phones in. They have a little seal thing, and until the end of the day, they can't unseal the pouch with their phones in them. So their phones have to be off all during your school sessions. Now, the kids don't like it. The kids ain't gonna like it because these kids are spoiled and they're on TikTok and Facebook and all the other madness and not learning. So they've talked to the administration. The administration said, hey, we're seeing the grades come up. We're seeing better involvement in the classrooms. And then the news is going to say some parents are mad. So then they're going to interview these crazy behind parents. And the parents are like, well, we can't get in touch with the kid in case of emergency, or they have this, that, and the other thing. Is it more important for your kid to learn? And secondly, a school doing that is probably also implementing safety protocols, which is what this man said. what it is you want your kid texting you and all this other stuff about nonsensical stuff. I'm sorry, I'm 55. I went to school when there was no cell phones. There weren't even pay phones on the campus. If you had to call home, you went to the office and you let them know what the emergency was. There was a nurse's office if you got sick, and they had emergency contact for your parents. So if an emergency happens, that protocol is still pretty sure it's in effect. So now it's just about you and your children want what you want. And you want them on there doing mindless stuff, texting back and forth about nonsensical stuff. None of it makes sense. And I'm like, dear Lord, what in the world is going on with people? Crazy. When you say, Father, forgive them for they don't have a clue. Zero. I talked to my best friend about, I don't know if it's 4 weeks back, maybe a little longer. And every time I talk to her lately, it's like, Shannon, things are just bad. It's not making any sense. Things are just bad. It's like everybody crazy in the world is weird. I said, it's under a curse. Now, I said, there's a curse. And she goes, yeah, I know the whole world is under a curse. I said, that's what I've been trying to tell you. That's what I'm telling you about Jesus. Then she wants to end the conversation. People can sense it. People can feel it. They don't want to deal with it. They're not understanding or wanting to deal with the madness. I got a friend of mine, love him dearly. He won't watch the news anymore. I don't want to watch anything bad. And he wants to try to live in a happy place when I know he's not happy. He wants to try to close out what's going on. And what's going on is an alert. It's an alarm sounding. But people aren't paying attention. They want to go about their normal day. They want to do it their way. I was watching, I don't know if y'all been watching the sports, the world sports or whatever. So it's like a world professional, kind of like the Olympics, but it's world or whatever. And so that one, and I'm not going to mention names, the one female that had all the ghetto accoutrement. I can't stand it. Long nails and the color. I can't. It's not my thing. I don't. And the sad part is the baby pretty. I can tell a lot of them are very attractive young ladies, but they got all that madness. And I'm like, oh my God, if you don't I want to snatch fake eyelashes, and I want to snatch the weave. And I just want to see the pretty you. I mean, because they're just beautiful. Some of the sisters are just beautiful girls. And she's a really, really cute little attractive little girl. But anyway, so she had some issues before. Everybody kind of know her issues. Baby can run. And I believe she has come or is trying to come to the faith. I don't know all the details. But when they interviewed her, she got a cross in her hair, braided in. She wearing her cross now. I can tell there's something transpiring. But her generation is our generation. And when they interviewed her, I was so disappointed. Because I thought she was going to say, God, I've gotten my relationship with God. I'm, working with God in order to get better than where I was at. He's blessing me. Something to that degree. Nope. Our whole conversation was, I'm working on myself. I. There's a bigger thing going on here, y'all. A much, much bigger thing. It's not about all the I. And she kept going on how she's worked on herself and how she believes in herself. And I'm going, oh, baby, you got the cross in your head. You're wearing the cross on your neck. So I have a feeling, and you're trying to point to the sky, that you're trying to come into this relationship with God, baby. But you got to give him credit where credit is due. You just can't randomly, but that's her generation. It's all about them. What they want, how they want it. I had a friend of mine right now, this is the one who did the big graduation thing. And her son just went up here to college, and he's up at the dorms. And I noticed how, I'm like, wait a minute. I need to understand something here. well, I've got to do this and I got to get this for him and I got to. Didn't you tell me that boy had a part-time job? Yeah. He just got a full ride scholarship to a university for 4 years. Where was it? You didn't help you. And to me, I think she bought the car. You bought a car. You paid the insurance. You paid the registration. And I don't see a problem with parents helping the child. But I do have problems with entitlement. I need to know why he can't go get the stuff he needs from his dorm room from the monies that he was working for the past few years. Why single mama raising 2 boys, fighting with the daddy, can't get him the things he needs. Why he can't get his stuff that he needs to the dorm room. The dorm room supplies him a bed. All he got to do is bring sheets, something to put his clothes in, and really you don't even need that because it got a closet. You should have supplies from the house that y'all should have brought with you. I need to understand. I'm not understanding. But again, there's an entitlement that's happening. And it's not that you don't want to bless your kids and help them. You do. But this it needs to go. There was a brother, and I don't know who he is. He was a world runner too. I forgot his name. And I guess he's real popular. Again, I'm just catching up with all of this. And when they interviewed him, the difference between the girl and him, both of them, at least I think, are trying to represent a Christian life. The difference between the girl and him, he says, they're like, hey, you're really looking good out there on the field. What do you do to get prepped to get yourself there? And he says, well, my family's here with me. And before I even come out here to do what I do, my mother prays over me. We pray that the Lord shows me favor and blessings. Well, finally, somebody who says, it ain't about me. Then he says, he gives credit. And I work with XYZ people. And they come in, but the first thing we do to start my day is my mother prays over me, and I get ready to start my day because I have to first start it basically with God. I'm like, you just won. Because I didn't hear, I. Bible talks about a time in which we were going to come into where people were going to be the most self-centered and basically self-serving. We're here. I personally have never heard, and using the I word, as much self-centered, narcissistic behavior as what I hear now. It is all about people. Even in Christendom, or in what's supposed to be Christianity, even among the churches, we have so many churches preaching about the I, what you want, and basically I always call it pimping God for what you want, and it's all about you. It's the most self-serving mentality in Christianity in America. It's about wealth. It's about power. It's about money. It's about you and the things you want here. Lord, please make me a blessing. Lord, help me that when people come across my path, I let them know about you. Those are the things that need to be happening. Because, and I know some people ask me, well, wait a minute, what if aliens come and folks disappear? Because that's going to be the initial thing when the church is raptured. For most people, when a whole bunch of folks disappear and they're gone, most folks going to be sitting up here going, oh, it's aliens. I'm seeing a lot of stuff on aliens now. I'm even, when I saw Essence, I kind of look as people having an Essence festival. Missy did an Essence, Missy Elliott did, and she got the spaceship coming down, and it's that, and it's a prep for the mind of once this church is gone and people disappear, and I'm praying I ain't here. And again, that's all in God's judgment. I'm praying I'm not here. I'm praying I'm one of the ones that go up. But once that happens, they're going to make all sorts of excuses. Oh, there was a nuclear attack. Oh, it's aliens. I never thought a time when we would admit that we have UFOs, and now we're investigating it. It's a mindset that's being prepped for the things to come. And folks are going to be like, oh, okay. I've just never seen anything like it. And a lot of people have become very desensitized. We're now dealing with the COVID XBB, some new variant, and they're trying to get people back in mask again, which I've seen some of the grocery store workers starting to wear the mask again, and they talking about another vaccine coming out, and a lot of people are like, they thought COVID was over. No, COVID never really went away, and we know it's gonna mutate. That's what it does. It didn't go away. It's still here. And people just, like I said, folks want to live in this weird madness and make the madness normal or ignore it. Do not ignore what's going on right now. There's a little Bible, I'm going to move off this subject in a second. There's a Bible statement, and I might not be paraphrasing it right, but basically the Pharisees came to Jesus, and I can't remember the exact question, but he basically told them, you can tell the weather's changing. You can tell the signs you can tell, when it's going to rain, when all this, but you cannot tell the signs of the times. The signs of the times are screaming. They're yelling from the rooftops. Weather, society, ethnic divide, wars, rumors of wars, climate issues. We have food insecurities that are happening. Matter of fact, and this isn't a major food, but it's something most people had. And thank God I still have some. If you guys like sriracha, that original one that came out, right now, I just watched a news article. Do you know they selling that stuff? You can't find it hardly in any stores. And someplace selling it for $50 a bottle on the web. I went in there, I'm like, ooh, I should put mine up for sale. I got a bottle, I got maybe a couple bottles. I think I may have some not open on top of the refrigerator. $50 for a bottle because people can't find the sriracha. The original version. You may be able to find other people making their version of it, but they can't find the original sriracha. Something going on with climate and where he sourced his jalapenos from out of Mexico, because of the drought there, he don't have a good supply. So I was like, And there's going to be other stuff coming. Food is expensive. Y'all saw, so I put on there, I go to a Latino grocery store. I didn't do the garden yet. I'm going to try. Once it cools off, I'm going to work on I guess what's called fall, winter garden, because Arizona, you can grow year round. And I'm going to get out there and work and clean it up and then try to do that. And if I can get the drip system in when it's cooler, hopefully, if we get to summer of next year, if I'm still here, I'm hoping the church is raptured. But if we get to summer of next year, I'm going to be growing my summer vegetables out there. I did not do it this year. I got to figure out how to deal with my friendly neighborhood lizards. But I'm going to try to grow this year. And I got to figure out a way to do the lettuce where them little ninjas don't go after my lettuce. I'll have to figure it out. And they on the door every day when I come home. Hey, how you doing? They just hanging on the door. They horrible. So, but I'm going to get out there. I'm going to do some cleanup straight up. And I'm going to redo some things on how I'm going to do that back patio. But I went to the grocery store. So it's a Mexican Latino grocery store here called Food City. And I do their sales. So I actually put the sale ad on here. So you saw 2 for, was it 2 pounds or 3 pounds for $1 for a head of cabbage. And big heads of cabbage. So I bought cabbage. Celery them been like $2 and something a bunch. They had them for 99 cents. I bought one of those. They had radishes on sale for 69 cents. They have had chilies, but they didn't have a really good supply left. So I need to get up in there when they have more supplies of the Hatch chilies, because I basically smoke them on my smoker and then freeze them. What else did they have? They had it looks like it was going like they were getting rid of old limes and stuff. So I bought a bag of that. And what I may do is just juice them and freeze them. But, that's, and then they had some apples in there and maybe some peaches. So I'm going to probably cut it up and make some kind of a salsa or whatever out of it. Maybe make like a vegan burro with some black beans or something. I haven't decided. Everything is weird. Like when I go to the grocery store and I'm paying astronomical prices for vegetables and fruit, you should be asking yourself a question. Why? If everything is normal, why are we paying those kind of prices? If everything is normal. I'm just saying. Oh, everything's gone up. And the supply and demand is different too. I went in today and I just went in there in the vegetable section, was not for just tomatoes, was, and granted we're coming out of tomato season, but in other parts of the country or the world where it's, cooler there, they're now going to become hotter and they can grow. And then now we're going to have to, go to our fall winter stuff. Things are different. Everything is different. I'm even looking at when I go into the stores and I'm looking at what the quality of produce. A lot of it seems rotten, has sat there for longer periods than what it's supposed to. Why? Because things aren't good. We can put a false face on it all we want to, but things aren't good. Everybody peaches were affected due to all of the different storms and weather issues. But folks aren't watching because I don't want to know. I don't want to talk about that. I don't want to watch it. I don't want to know. I don't want to know about the bad stuff. So you rather walk with blinders on? A lot of people say, "Oh, you save food." Oh yeah, I had dreams. I save food. All my freezers are full. I didn't have to buy no meat this week. I don't need no meat. I was like, "Shit, don't buy no more meat." I can't even put anything else in the freezer. I got canned goods here, and in the room. 3 different places in this house. If people are like, "What happened to Retcher?" Then there'll be food for somebody. And maybe that's what the Lord had me have dreams for. But if they break in this apartment, they can eat. And God bless them, have it. Don't take that number. I tell everybody, all my videos going forward, we're going to be, do not take that number 666. Don't take that number. Who is it? A friend of mine. Who was talking to me? Oh, Linda was saying, she's like, "Girl, did you hear Walmart getting ready to sell that weird meat?" I said, "What weird meat?" "You know that meat you sent me." "Oh, you talking about the cloned meat?" She's like, "Yeah." I said, "All the stores are going to sell that." I said, "Yeah, don't you understand? That wasn't introduced for no reason. It wasn't introduced for no reason at all. They didn't just pull that out the crack of their butt and say, 'Oh, today we're going to make cloned meat.' No, baby. That's being done for a reason. Because they already know we in trouble. The planet is not doing what it normally did. Climate change is what they call it. We got flooding we ain't never seen. Everything burning up. Like one guy I watched, he said, if it ain't on fire, it's flooding. It's one or the other. He says it's like a no-win situation. It's a fire or it's flooded. It's either or. Flatbed, what's up, baby? Where you at where you at in the country? It's either or. I'm rambling about stuff, just rambling about signs of the times, baby. But keep your eyes open. And for those of y'all who are Christians, be prayed up and be in a relationship with him. For those of you who ain't, I would challenge you to talk to him. And you don't believe, just say, "Hey, I don't know if TheDoll is crazy. But if you really real God, show me. And I'm going to tell you some things will happen where you'll figure it out. Or you might not want to figure it out. But you're going to definitely get something to transpire and show you. I can almost guarantee you. He will step in if you ask. But yeah, there's so much happening right now. And when Linda was saying, "Oh, you hear that Walmart going to be selling?" Oh, I did watch Soul and Green. I watched Soul and Green Flatbed. That was actually good. I did watch it. But she said, "Shannon, did you see they going to sell that meat?" And I was like, "What meat?" And I thought she meant like soy meat. I'm like, "Girl, they already do soy-based meat and plant-based meat." And then I'm going, "Oh, you talking about the clone laboratory meat?" She like, "Yeah." Oh, Tennessee. Love Tennessee. Love the Smokies. My aunt is in Nashville. Love Tennessee. Tennessee is gorgeous. That again, if I had a trailer and didn't have to work, girl, I'd be all over the country. And Tennessee would be one of the ones I would pull my trailer up to a little area and have me a good old time just chilling. I like Tennessee. just the greenery. And the Smokies are gorgeous. But yeah, she's like, and I was like, Linda, you do realize when they introduced that meat, notice if y'all go back, when they introduced it, they did it at a political conference and they gave it to, I guess they fed all of these political heads of countries this meat. What, y'all just think like, oh, this company just decided out the blue to do that? No, homie. This was probably planned and discussed. When they have those meetings, they are, even in businesses, before they cater something, it's planned and discussed. They'll ask people, do you have dietary restrictions? Are you vegetarian? Or do you have allergic reactions and stuff? So they know what to serve people. So you even usually before you go, when I was working in higher corporate stuff, before you even go into a room, your whole meal is planned out for you. You already know what you're picking up. They knew that clone meat was going to be there. And it was being introduced for a reason to every country virtually that was there. Everybody could eat from it. Everybody could try it. You think that's just, oh, we're just going to try clone meat today. No, because this is something that's going to be introduced to your public. Because guess what? We're running into some issues. The cost to feed my animals is expensive. There's a drought. Stuff ain't growing like it's supposed to grow. We got flooding. Louisiana, and I'm not laughing because Louisiana's on fire, y'all. It's on fire. Louisiana. The dude, I don't know, governor, mayor, whatever, he's like, we're not used to these kind of conditions. Really? Okay. Yes, you are absolutely right. One of the number ones that I don't care for is McDonald's, and I believe it was the Chicken McNuggets. I agree. Coffee. I believe when I went to the grocery store, I stopped at the place up the street, Starbucks. It was being used for the Chicken McNuggets. You are 100% correct. Hell, that's soy-based meat that they do, but it's soy-based. I don't have a problem with soy-based or plant-based meat. I don't really care. Some people talk about that, but that also is being introduced quite a bit. But the problem now is that if you already having a food issue, how in the heck yeah, I'm not, and see, I've never been, so the boneless wings are supposed, let me just go ahead and say that, supposed to be chicken breast. I'm gonna say that. I've never been I'm not a huge wings person, but if I do crave wings, I want my bone in. I agree with that. And you know it's regular meat. Now, don't get it twisted. I won't be shocked if they come up with a way to make it so it has some kind of bone to it and may look normal. We're getting more Star Trek based. Remember what's that, the little thing that makes your food and prison, you tell it what it want and it They trying. But she's like, I was like, girl, we're going to see that in every grocery store. You getting ready to see that in every grocery store. That's why, like I said, it's getting ready to cool off. I'm going to get back there in that back. We're going to clean some stuff up. I'm getting ready to get my bags together. I'm getting my drip system together. I'm getting my little garden function. Because like I went today just to get vegetables. Now, y'all put on that receipt. I bought 24 items. That's pretty good. I paid $14. So that means I paid less than $1 per item if you average it out, which is good. I bought 24 items. I paid less than $14. I paid like just under $15. And I bought cabbage. I bought onions. I bought avocado. I bought a few tomatoes. What else did I get? Celery. Limes. I don't think what else. Red potatoes. Trying to think what else. Everything I did was mainly vegetables. That's pretty much, I bought what they call bolo rolls, which is like, they make these Mexican sandwiches with these bolo rolls. And I bought 3. They were 3 for $99. I bought that. And I bought like a little, I think it's called a concho or whatever. It's like a pan whatever. It's like their Mexican sweet bread. I bought one of those. It's 85 cents. So I bought 24 items, and I paid just under $14.50 some cents. That's the receipt you see. Right, okay, flatbed, we on the same page. Everything you seeing, what was that called? You went to it and you told it what you want, and it would come up with the meal or the drink that they wanted, and it would produce it, and they could eat it or drink it. And that's, we have, unfortunately, have a new generation of human that's their realness. Is they, mommy and daddy put them in front of TVs, and that's their reality. And so many folks, this is their reality, and they're trying to make these things true. And the Bible talked about this new generation will be a very knowledgeable generation, but they're also going to be a self-centered and entitled generation. And it's about them, and they think they're their own little gods. And some of us are the same way. My age group, I'm going to do it my way. And I'm not listening to anything. It's all my way. Oh, okay, enjoy that. I'm living my truth. That's the other one. How many truths are there? From a Christian perspective, there's only one truth. And that's the truth of what God has laid out as the law of the land. But now the truth can be, I can be born physically one way, and my truth is that I'm something else, because that's just the way I feel. I can feel I'm a Cocker Spaniel. I'm not trying to be mean, and that's my truth. So, and I hear that, and it's amazing to me. But also, I hear, and I'm not knocking people. Do you? The replicator. That was it, flatbed, the replicator. But I'm a big person on, you got the right to. That's my mantra. Everybody got the right to, because God gave us all free will. So if you feel you're something and that's what you want to be, I just have a problem with you imposing what you feel you are on me. I can respect the fact you feel that way. But if I'm not seeing anything different, sorry if you're offended, this is what I say. I don't see you furry. I'm sorry. I don't see you as a kitten. I can't. I just don't. I don't. And, but there are people who, I feel this, okay, that's your truth. You want to be that, be your truth. And I see that even now in people who, it was funny, I watched an interview. There's a guy who kind of he watches different videos. And a pastor was on the street, and he ran into these two chicks, and they were gay. He's interviewing him. And he's just asking them questions. He didn't know they were gay till later when it got exposed in the interview. And so he's asking them about what they believed. I'm going to be honest. I'm okay with plant-based meat because it comes from a natural plant that was grown. I'm okay with soy products. I get that. I'm okay with tofu. But when you get to cloning chicken in the lab, I'm sorry, that's just very odd to me. And don't get me wrong, people go, well, wait a minute, we eat and drink a lot of processed stuff. True, we do. We really do. From soda, but then when you look at the plant-based meat thing, that's taking, or eating roaches or bugs or something like that. That's taking it to a whole nother level for me. And I get in countries like grasshoppers and crickets, I had, like, what is that? The ant, the chocolate covered ant. Again, I've done it just to do it, but that wouldn't be my thing. I'm sorry, I don't want to eat critters. I don't want to eat insects, but there are plenty of people. The Bible talks about John the Baptist. He ate, was it locusts and wild honey? But that's it is a protein. It honestly is a protein, and they're edible. A lot of people don't know that manna, which is still made today. So when you talk about the Bible, and sorry, y'all, my leg. When you talk about the Bible, and you look at when God did the manna in the desert, it's actually a fly that secretes the stuff that makes manna. It is still made today. And he, because he controls everything, basically that was how they were able to eat, was this, whatever it is that this fly lays is manna and edible. And it's still done in the Middle East. You can research it. And I think it's a fly, if I remember correctly, that secretes this thing that's called manna. and I think it's like a sticky sweet substance, or makes like a bread or a powder or something like that. But yeah, so there are things, and I get it, but when you get into cloning stuff, I don't know, just stuff ain't sitting right to me. Also, let me help you because I'm gonna take it to a whole nother level. If there are factories that clone food and food becomes scarce, just follow my bouncing ball. Okay. I just knew it was some kind of pieces of meat. I didn't know what it was, but I knew that the chicken nuggets was some sort of, or that the, okay, I didn't know it was thigh meat. I didn't know it was thigh meat. I just knew it was some kind of piece of meat from the chicken and without the bone, and yeah, it's a bit much for me. But if your company clones meat, and let's say meat becomes a scarcity, food becomes a scarcity, and the government can control the factories that make the meat. And then all of a sudden, Soylent Green is a good example. Um, Soylent Green is a good example. Thank you, Flatbed, because I just thought about that. And then you have to come to the government for your meat. That comes into something that the Bible tells us you can't buy or sell without a mark. So that's where things are going. And I'm like, I don't know how you can't see it lining up. I'm watching it and I'm like, this. And normally when I'm seeing it, I'm going, ooh wee Jesus, ooh wee. Because you're seeing it all. It's almost like a gift. It's coming together so well. I'm just sitting back and I'm like, you couldn't write it any better. This is coming together. It's like a motion picture. Yeah, Soylent Green. I watched it. It's coming together like a motion picture. And it's so well scripted. And I'm like, ooh, wee Jesus. And that's why my prayer is like, Lord, please keep my hand in your hand. Don't leave me here. Because when the church is gone, y'all gonna talk about some Matt. Don't take that number. If y'all get stuck here like Chuck, don't take that number. Might as well just going to die. You don't want to go to hell. Don't take that number. Do not. You won't even be in control of yourself anymore. Because you're basically, when you accept the number, you're basically letting other spiritual forces come in and guide you. Don't take that number. Don't. You can watch out. Go out here and talk to people. You can see, folks, all the everything in the building. People are walking around here oblivious and weird. You talk to people and you're like this. I'm like, and it's like they're living in some weird delusion. It's one of the reasons I'm happy I didn't go for the bus company in Phoenix after I thought about it, because like I said, I pass the buses now and I'm like, oh my God. At first it's like, well, but now as I look at it, I'm like, thank you, Jesus. Because what I see, even just going to the store, they have to have security at one of the stores. The store I went to is not a extravagant store. They actually have to have the security now at the front of the stores. The Walmart I go to now is security and the greeters. And on top of it, it's insanity. And sometimes the cops are just sitting there parked in front. What I see is insanity. And granted, because of the people's mind is different. The homeless and drug usage is on a whole nother level. And what's funny, because I was watching a man say, he says, after COVID, people changed. But not only people changed, he even talked about churches. He said there were churches who you really found out who was solid in the gospel and who wasn't. And that's facts. You got a lot of churches got caught up in political stuff. And I got a niece of mine, she's invited me, but her pastor's way too caught up in political stuff for me. If you ain't preaching Jesus, I can't work with you. I'm like, I can't do it with you. It's weird to me. The church should be teaching Jesus, and they're not. They're teaching politics, and if not prosperity, politics, money, you're a winner. And I'm not trying to say not to encourage people. I do believe people should be encouraged, but not encouraged where it's all about you. Encouraged in the point of God is going to get you through. God is there working on your behalf, yes. But at the same time, you're working in conjunction with God as a witness, a disciple, Basically, your life is a missionary life. You are supposed to be, as God puts those situations in front of you, sharing the gospel. And some people may have deeper callings. You're supposed to be walking in that. It's not all about the fancy house, the fancy car. It's just like me. I didn't go and say, "Oh Lord, I want the best car they got." I didn't. I was like, "Lord, open the door for what I need. Provide me what I need." I went humbly. Did He give me more than what I asked for? Absolutely. What I'm blessed with was way more than what I expect. I'm still trying to figure out half the stuff in this car. It's not new, but it's new to me, and it's a blessing, and it seems to be in relatively good shape. Came with a lot more than what I was expecting to get. And do I believe He blessed that door? Yes. And right now, since I'm looking at other options, I now have transportation that if that other option open up, I can go anywhere in the valley and now start a new option, preferably with more money. I didn't have that before. So, but I didn't go with I. Lord, I need something. I need a car because of X, Y, and Z. And I prayed about it, put it in His hands, and doors opened. I didn't go with I want the best. I want that Lincoln Navigator. I like this. No, what's that? I forgot Lincoln something. I was in NKZ or whatever it is. I thought the car was awesome. But give me what I need. Give me what I need, Lord. And the timing could not be better because I didn't know I was going to be at a point where I'm now looking for something else. And now I got the transportation to do and look for something else. There's a way in which we can be humble as Christians, as people. But even the church right now, I'm concerned. I watched as this young man who was interviewing these two girls, and the conversation was interesting. In the conversation was two black ladies, and was the guy who was interviewing was a Latino guy, and he was a pastor. He's just asking them general spiritual questions. And they both say, "Oh, no, we both Christian. We're Christian." He goes, "Oh, okay, you Christian? Yeah." He goes, "Okay." He says, basically, if you died right now, would you go to heaven? "Oh, yeah, we're going to go to heaven." Okay. Then they share they're in this relationship with each other, these two chicks. He goes, "Okay, so y'all, you're gay." She said, "Yeah." He goes, "So you don't think God has no issue with that?" "No, okay. And so he goes, "So, you don't see this as a sin?" And no. And he wasn't really picky, just laying stuff on the table. And she goes, "No. So the other one who had done prison time, she goes, "No, it's a sin." He goes, "Okay, so you say it's a sin, but you say it's not." Yeah. He goes, "Okay, so let's back up." He says, "But you both say if you die right now, y'all going to heaven." "Oh, yeah, absolutely." He goes, "Okay, so what determines that you're going to go? And so, that you're a good person." I'm going to help you out with something. There are going to be a lot of good people who did a lot of good things. There are going to be some that say they ministers, and they're going to bust hell wide open. They're going to tell you all the good, wonderful things that they did on this planet. Again, self-centered. The whole question is by whose. There's a word called a plumb line, which is a measurement line, which is used to measure back in the old days, and it's still used today when you think about being plumb, meaning flush, meaning straight. Whose plumb line are you using, yours or God's? And if you're using God's plumb line, you can best believe it's going to be straight. Yours might be crooked. Because your mind of what the plumb line should be is basically your way. I want it my way. That's why you got people walking around talking about my truth. And if you're a loving God, you wouldn't send me to hell because I'm living my truth. But if your truth don't line up with God's truth, whose plumb line are you using? So these two young ladies went back and forth. It was a very good conversation, but what I got out of that is the self-centeredness again. I'm going to do it my way, my reality, and if God loved me, then He ain't going to send me to hell for living the life that I want to live. Again, I don't know if you guys heard of an insolent child. An insolent child is a child who, I ain't gonna mind, I'm gonna do it my way, bad as hell, no discipline, and it's my way. Like Grumpy used to sit here, "I don't want to." He used to do that, remember that? That is what an insolent child does. It means I'm going to do it my way. How's that working out for you? How's it working out for you? And there's some people who are so set in it. Grumpy was a good example. Cut nose off, spite face. And then you're like, wait a minute. Why is my life crazy? Why isn't things the way? Because you're doing it your way. And we all do it in some form. Even me. We all do it in some form. But there are people who a lot of aspects of their life, even their spiritual life, are based on that. And that is one of the most dangerous areas ever, because if you close your eyes in death here and you don't have it right, you could have done a lot of good things here. But if you don't have that relationship with God, you can bust hell wide open. I think, was it Jerry Lewis telethon? I think it's a wonderful thing that he did. I don't know him personally. I don't know what he did on a personal level. That was probably one of the good things he did. But by the Bible standards, if he don't believe in God, Christ, and he don't accept Christ, his destination is not heaven. 0. You must believe. No ifs, ands, or buts. So when I talk to people, I'm like, hey, and I'm telling people, hey, y'all, things are really weird right now. Things are extra weird. People are extra weird. Climate is extra weird. Economy is still weird. Oh, we got all these job growth, but yet people struggling to make it. Price to live is through the roof. People can barely buy groceries. I said at Walmart yesterday, I watched this woman and they sitting at the register and we had to wait an extra 15, 20 minutes and she was trying to put stuff back because she did not have the money to buy everything she had. And we're not just talking random stuff. It was food. I'm just sitting there going, my Lord. And it was about, I think it was like 3 or 4 of them. My Lord. Folks are struggling. Folks are struggling. They're having a very hard time. Y'all need to watch what's going on right now. Things are crazy. And it's not going to get better. It's not going to go back to normal. And don't read into Christianity what you think it is. I'm going to read it here in a second, D. All right. D, thank you for coming in again. Don't read into it what you think it is. Because a lot of people, it was funny when he was talking to those women. And the guy kept stopping video. He goes, wait. I need to understand. Because they're different. And the guy asked them, the real big questions are, have you ever stolen anything? Yes. Have you ever lied? Yes. Have you done this? Okay. But you just told me you're a good person. But by these standards, you're a liar. You're a thief. You this, that, and the other thing. You just said to me, if you steal, you this. If you lie, you this. And if you do this, you this. So how is it that you think that God is going to weigh you? By accepting his son Jesus and by starting to line your life up. This is what XYZ does in order for you to make it in. But a very good conversation. But we have so many churches that are not teaching any foundational Christianity, and folks are making up what they think the gospel is. And they're making up what they think is acceptable. And so we got a lot of people and a lot of ministries and a lot of pastors that may bust hell wide open because they're not preaching truth. They're preaching what people want to hear. That's why I said this channel, if it makes money, wonderful. If it don't make that much, wonderful. I mean, it'll be a blessing either way. But I would rather be able to talk to people and tell them what I sense is truth and what I truly believe is truth, and have them not bust hell wide open or get stuck and left behind in the madness that's going to come. Because once folks disappear, there's going to be madness. And I believe there will be a rapture. Not a doubt in my mind. Not a doubt. God is not going to leave his people in this madness. And it's getting ready to be madness. That dude that got blew up over in the plane crash? How many of y'all really believe that plane crashed? And that was an accident. This man just did a coup against his boy. His boy ain't no joke. Putin ain't no joke. That plane, there was no accident. Somebody set that up. Not a doubt in my mind. And I'm just like, oh, okay. Okay. That's why I don't believe that oh, we just all of a sudden making clone meat and that's what we're going to, no, 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 no. And we're going to start selling it? No. There's a reason for that. There's a reason. There's a reason for that clone meat. Because things get things get ready to get extra special. I'm sorry. Extra special on the food. Ask yourself, we just had a summer of fires and floods. Fires and floods. Peach crop was hit. Peach is high as hell. Certain crops hit high as hell. I'm just saying, ask yourself some questions. I'm just saying. Anyway, y'all, I've been on here an hour. I got homework to do. I got to do something from a Christian group. There was another comment, but I couldn't find it, from Truckerette. And I'll find it later and maybe discuss it in the next one. I know it has something to do with race and ethnicity, but I couldn't find it. And I saw it, I read it, and I replied to you. But I couldn't find it because I'm going to talk about it in this video. But if I find it, I'll talk about it in the next video. And I know you said it has something to do. It has something to do with race. I just don't remember all of it. So I got to go see if I can find it. It was attached to one of the videos. But I will put that out later. Anyway, y'all, let me make sure I didn't miss anything. Oh, manna was a food. So real quick, flatbed. Manna was a food that was supplied to the Hebrews, aka Jews, at the Exodus when they were in the desert. So they were stuck in the desert. They needed something to eat, and they say God supplied manna. Well, the way the manna was supplied, from what I understand from some further research, I thought, if I remember it correctly, it's a fly or some kind of an insect that secretes this, like a powder or a honey something. And basically it would be there, I think, in the morning or something like that when they would wake up, something like that, and they could go get it. Research it, and there was a documentary I saw on it. There's a biblical guy who does, he goes and looks at the things happening over in the Middle East, and they did a whole series. I can't remember if it's a History Channel, but it was really good. And he basically did, and I did further research on how manna comes about. And it is, and that insect is still alive today. It's still in that same area. It still makes this stuff called manna. And this secretion, and I thought it was like a fly. Because when I saw it, I was like, shut the front door. Because God is genius. I mean, just when you look and figure out and see how things happen and the genius that he is behind it, absolute genius. Absolute genius. Anyway, y'all, 2 and 2, be blessed. If I see other comments, I like Bison. Okay, she's gone. If I see other comments, I'm going to go through them. I know Flatbear said the Wendy's Nuggets. I have never had Wendy's Nuggets. The only ones I had were McDonald's. Let's see. Trying to see. Okay, so I will go back through, read stuff. If I see any comments, I'll talk about them next week. I'm probably gonna come on here every Saturday or Sunday, at least one or the other, and I'll try to put a video up a little bit in advance. Y'all be blessed, be safe, stay cool, be prayed up. Do not accept that number when the church gets raptured. I'm thinking it possibly could be this year because things is crazy. And y'all be blessed. You don't know them, get to know them, and God bless y'all. 2 and 2.